KingandQueenRadio.com, BrooklynStation.com, KingandQueenRadio.com, BrooklynStation.com.
Good evening, good morning, good night. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to WVIP 93.5 FM, The Beyond Show. Only on KingandQueenRadio.com, BrooklynStation.com, livestream.com/KingandQRadio, as well as YouTube.com. Type in the search bar King and Queen Radio, and of course yours truly, Sister Dobong. We are streaming live, and we are live right now. Zena Palin's Facebook, unfortunately, I'm sorry, sweetheart, I can't get in there. But we are on streaming on my Facebook live, Holly Go Lightly. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have a great show for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, as I promised, the president is here. That's all I have to say. The president is here. He has arrived. So therefore, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Do not forget to visit SisterDobong.com for your lucky horoscopes as well as numbers. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to give a call into the studio at 718-676-0820. That's 718-676-0820 or 718-253-4239. That's 718-253-4239. DJ Suave, it's yours.
Universal sign of love. Love is dancing, my friend, and love is the only way. Yeah, true love you can find yourself and call her true identity. Love your brother, love your sister, love you with the universal sign. I'll take it from here. Yeah, you know, that's it. Universal sign of love. Love is dancing, my friend, and love is the only way. Yeah, true love you can find yourself and call her true identity. Love your brother, love your sister, love you with the universal sign. I'll take it from here.
See
turn on the TV. Yeah, the first thing is trying to beat me. What I could try to see, catching on me fever. And now we say that I'm not feeding baby. What a piece of shame, because I'm gone on the jail. I'm said it all, I want to be there. What a piece of sign, the youths must lose their mind. Police murder 7 time, but it's them. Dirty crime, for life, is them. Dirty crime, never is the crime, is them. Dirty crime, for life, is there a place, is there a time? I've been looking on the front line. It's a definition of freedom, and don't you give I know we can make it in life. Just be focused and be obnoxious. That's another episode of life. We're gonna have a great show. I know we can make it in life. Just be focused and be obnoxious. That's another episode of life. That's what it is.
There's a few words about care. Still I got the memory.
New York, New York, New York. Welcome to the King and Queen Radio, BrooklynStation.com, SisterDobong.com, and KingandQueenRadio.com. What a pleasant night here. This is a great show, great show. Yes, yes, we have the president here. The president is in the house tonight. So folks, we got a great show. Go call your friends. You can check us out and you're going to see a great show we got here for you this evening. Well, you may be some places at night and it may be some places morning because you know we worldwide. So I want to say I am so happy and this is a lot of love for you out there, folks. So I'm going to give you a moment or two. We got our DJ here. We worked very hard to get the president here, and the president is in the house, and this is going to be a show for you. So I know you think it's a joke. No, it's not a joke. The president is in the house. So go call your friends and call everybody and tune in now because the president is going to be talking to you tonight. So it's a great show. So I'm going to give you time to go get yourself together, go get your tea, go get whatever you got to get because we got a show for you. And that's right, we got DJ Swami on the 1 and 2, and he just is smiling because the president is in the house. And we want to say Holly did such a great job to get the president in the house. So we want to talk to you a little bit, DJ Goldstar, and tell us about the president and everything about the president. And then we're going to interview the president.
Well, first and foremost, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Holly, the station manager for King and Queen Radio on Brooklyn Station. Welcome. We have a wonderful, wonderful human being that is who I call basically the president, the future president of the United States. And excuse my appearance, it's just one of those days. I'm constantly busy, always doing
That's
stuff.
all right. You did a good job, and you represent the king and queen very good by bringing the president here. So
that's right, and I salute you, sir. I am honored. But, I have questions, but I need to just get everything prepared, and we're going to talk in a few moments. But I want you to have your time with the Queen, of course, and also with our audience of over 12 million listeners worldwide. Yes, I said the president for 2020. It is not a joke. King and Queen Radio, BrooklynStation.com.
Okay, so go and tune in right now, King and Queen Radio, BrooklynStation.com, and 93.5 FM. And that's right,
radio.
The president is heard first on 93.5 FM on the King and Queen Radio, BrooklynStation.com.
Big it
up each and every time, okay? And don't forget 1 a.m., there we go, Jamaica. So we're going to take it back to DJ Suave, and then we coming with the president, and you're going to come and sit down, and we're going to talk with the president. Lovely population control, we mind control. You don't control. Holly, look your motor all your support.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Send him to get some water.
the peace higher. The people them a ball to ceasefire. Wars of opinion, dominion, them seek with each prayer. See the know the weak and face the fire. But listen me now, me spend a week on Israel and me a look cross on the Gaza. Me feel the
is critical to your personal growth in 2019. 718-253-7273. That again, 718-253-7273. Jot this number down in your phone, your iPad. Store it on your computer, on a notepad, in a place where you can find it quickly, because at some point you will need it. It's the number for the most popular and most useful reader and advisor in our area. The world famous African reader and advisor, Sister Dobong.
That's right. I am Sister Dobong, here to help you. What do you want in 2019? More money? Success in your career job? Maybe you need a better job. How about reuniting with a loved one? If you've been plagued by illness, bad luck, lack, or heartache, it is time for a change. Don't give up. I'm the African Reading Advisor dedicated to making the difference in an imperfect world. Call me now for one free question by phone, 718-253-7273, and come see me at 1752 Flatbush Avenue, right at the corner of Avenue J in Brooklyn. And let's make 2019 one of the best years of your life.
Live your life a masterpiece. Imagine no limitations to what you can see, what you can be, what you can have, or what you can do. Call Sister Dobong now.
Did it take you a long time to get here?
Waterland Entertainment Limited presents the Jamaican Music Festival, Sunday, May 26th at the Royal Wilkins Park in Queens, featuring Maka Diamond, Ding Dong, Trevor Clark, Johnny Clark, Pinchers, The Angel, Assassin, aka Agent Sasko, Al Jam, Arrest Andy, I Octane, Dennis Al Capone, Tony Rebel, Derek Morgan, Mr. Charisma, and Coco T, MCs, Comedian Lemon, and Bossy Boy Fly. Admission $60 general admission, VIP $150 until April 1st. Tickets available now in the Bronx, Moody, Vegan Delight, Eagles Price Furniture, King Peace Jerry, Rockefeller Seafood, and Brooklyn, all tasted delicious bakery. Long Island, Sam's Caribbean Marketplace, Big Taste Restaurant, Jamaican Oasis, Tony Mac in Queens, VP Records, Yogi's Restaurant, Westchester Omar, the Flagman, vendors, please call 631-336-8353. That is 631-336-8353.
I forgot, I said I gotta put those in the camera. That's the first thing I saw.
In a time like now, when the world needs prayer, call on him and lift him higher. Look what's going on around us, yeah. Make a change in yourself for the better. Let's hold hands, we can do this together. We should all call on the one. I wanna provide the one that's made us the champion. He's the world's greatest, no other compares to him. It's a blessing, and I know that he will save us. Don't be afraid, it will only make you stronger. And I know that he'll be here forever, just as long as you believe in him. And the days are longer. Time like now, when the world needs prayer, call on him and lift him higher.
Okay, New York City. I hope you I'm like blushing, and I don't blush, but this time I am blushing. I'm waiting on DJ Gold Star, and we have the president here in the house with us, and I just hope you just watching this show, because we're going to discuss some issues. Okay, we have the president here, and we got DJ Gold Star. I want you to start off.
Can my camera see me?
DJ Gold Star.
Thank you. Yes.
Start off.
I'm sorry.
Please.
Yes. Good evening. Thank you for
Mr.
everybody
President.
watching on Facebook on my Facebook Live, Holly Go Lightly, sorry. Zena Palin is available on her phone though. But anyway, we're here live in the studio with the future President of the United States, Mr. Joe, I forgot the last name, Collins, the third. Yes, forgive me, it's been a very hectic day. Mr. Collins, I want to say thank you very much, and I applaud you for your race for the President of 2020.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Can you
check? Is this on? Okay,
yes, there you go.
I need to talk louder. That's what it is.
Yeah, when you're talking loud, you got to talk loud because you're going to have to speak out to a whole lot of people and they'll listen.
Yes, and the cold is gone. Now it's time to speak.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes.
You know, I was trying to get on the show last time and I had lost my voice, and so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be in New York. I had to do the Breakfast Club and a couple other things. So I'm like, you know, I'm gonna drop by. Yeah.
Oh, well, that is amazing. You'll drop by, and we want to thank you for coming here to King and Queen Radio Brooklyn Station, and we honor you. And
thank you, I appreciate it.
We're gonna be backing you all the way. And first question, Lady Goldstar, I want to ask you.
Yes. Basically, God asked us to care for the poor. I want you to let us know about your resolvements when it comes to issues with poverty and justice.
So when it comes to poverty and injustice in the United States, I think that's one of the biggest problems. And one of the biggest problems that we have is, you know, we have too many rules that are not being torn down before they make new rules. And so after they keep making new rules, pass new legislation, they never get rid of the old legislation. And so we still are bound by the same system from the 30s, 40s, you know, that kept us oppressed, that kept us down.
Yes.
And so that's why we can never get ahead. So in order for us to defeat the poverty and defeat the injustice, we have to go back and we have to get rid of the old rules. In order to do that, that means we have to get rid of the older politicians who've been in office for a long time. So if we are to have real change, if we are to do something for our people, for the, you know, the middle class and lower class, and if we want to get ahead, if we want to come up, then we got to tear down the old laws. It's cute, you know, to make new laws and to pass new legislation, but it's not going to benefit us with the same laws that we still have.
Now, with retrospect to that, do you feel that, I know that you said the last time that we spoke, we would have to go back and also have to get rid of the people that have had the same seats for several years.
Exactly.
So you're looking to limit that. I know they were supposed to limit that several years ago for like 2 years, but still people were going on and on and on, I guess, paying underneath the table.
Yeah. Well, people in Congress, they don't have any set term limits that you can run. For state representatives, they do, whether it's 4 terms, 6 terms, but people who actually have a seat in Congress, they need term limits. They need term limits, because as we evolve, as we grow as a people, so shall our laws, and so should the way we carry on our lives, which means that, you know, those guys who have been career politicians have to get out of office and let the younger generation get in and add some culture, some flavor to, you know, our country.
Exactly, and I agree. What is your thoughts on human trafficking?
Oh,
I'm sorry, did I strike a nerve?
No. I'm not a fan of human trafficking. And I think with so many intelligence agencies that we have, we got the CIA, the FBI, and all these other, you know, human rights organizations, that you can't spot, you know, human trafficking. I think that's a problem. Why do we have all these people? Why do we employ all these agencies if they can't even do their job?
Because they're the ones that are doing the dirt.
This is possible.
I'm very sorry to say that, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm neither here nor there with the issue. What I feel like is, if we're gonna have agencies to do a job, they need to do the job and do it right.
Exactly.
So if your job is to track human trafficking, or if your job is to track terrorists and stop terrorists, then you got to do the job.
That's right. That's right. What is your response to war and conflict?
My response to war and conflict is, we're the United States. We are the biggest, the baddest country in the whole entire world. Right now, our position is the position of being a bully, right? Because I feel like if every country is striving to be like you, then it is your duty to show other countries what it's like to be a superpower, what it's like to advance the technology age. And so that means we have to be an example. We have to set an example, and that's not what we're doing. I don't agree with war. I agree with diplomacy. I feel like we should be able to go talk to other nations and find out, what can we do to help you to advance? What can we do to help your people get out of poverty? And what can we do to work, build some type of relationship or some type of some type of working relationship so we both can move forward non-aggressively. We're not doing that right now. We have this thing where it's like, do what we say. No, okay, let's go to war, invade your country. You know, you have nuclear weapons. Oh, you don't? Well, let's go invade your country anyway. That's not diplomacy.
I agree. I agree. And being that you said America is looked at as a bully, it's a little bit of a trick question. Do you think we're looked at as a bully now because Trump is in office and the things that he's doing?
No, because Trump hadn't went to war.
I know. Well, that's true.
He talks a lot of trash on Twitter, but that's just talking. Now, the people who put us in war back in the 90s, in the 2000s, because I went there in 2008, you know, and so when people who actually put us in that conflict, those are the people who makes it seems like we're bullies. Because that shows, okay, so you don't have enough common sense to be, you know, diplomatic with any other country, or, you know, take care of the resolve without going to war. That's your last resort, is to go to war. And the thing about it is, like, the people who are putting us in war, their sons and daughters are not going to go fight with us.
Right.
They're not like look at the prince, right? He was in the army.
Yes.
You know, but did they engage in any wars? No, they didn't. But we have a lot of people whose sons and daughters are not in combat with us, but they're, you know, we have these people in Congress. Okay. They don't send their sons to war, so I guess it doesn't matter until it's actually your people that actually has a fight. Right.
Now, in comparison to that, what do you think about between Obama and Bush when they had their presidency? Is there any difference or similarity?
Yeah, the difference is Obama was a smooth talker. But we still went to war. We still went to war with a lot of countries, and I think one of the biggest things about having a black president or a president who claims that they're black is like, what are you going to do for our community?
Whoa.
What are you going to do for our community? And then, like, nobody ever holds these people responsible. They make promises, but they're never held to the promises that they make, and everybody's like, oh, it's cool, he's a black president. He's cool, he's a black president, but, you know, what have we done? What more accomplishment other than having a black president have we had since he's been in office? Not any. So there's no comparison between him or Bush.
Right. Well, given when the midterms are getting ready to come around and you have the power to refocus on everything that's going on and things that genuinely matter to you, what issues will be affected by the decision within the next 2 to 4 years of your presidency?
It's going to be a lot. I'm telling you, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to put term limits. All right, because without term limits, we can't get rid of old policies. In order to get rid of old policies, you have to get rid of the people who put those policies in place. So term limits is going to be my #1 push, even if I have to sign an executive order to get these people out of office. Because we can't move forward with the same baggage. So term limits is the first thing. The second thing is we have to start rebuilding our infrastructures. We have to start rebuilding our communities. We have to start rebuilding our cities, especially with the inner cities, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to create more jobs for our people who actually want to work. Now, some of our people, we have a lot of entrepreneurs. We have a lot of entrepreneurs in a community of color, and so we have to start making it easier for people of color to actually start businesses and build businesses on our own neighborhoods. So rebuilding our infrastructure is going to be my next task. And then after that is going to be criminal justice reform. Because from what I see, we have an unjust criminal justice system. It's unjust, it's unfair, and it's really racist.
Yes it is.
And so that's going to be the next thing that I tackle. I feel like if you're going to give mandatory minimums have to be equal across the board, regardless of how much money you make, what your race is, what God you believe in, and how much money you make. So criminal justice reform is going to be the second one. Can we keep going?
Yes, please.
Okay. Then after criminal justice reform, we have to tackle this tax issue. All right, because I know I do taxes. I'm a licensed broker, and so doing taxes, what I found out is people are paying more money in taxes, but they're not getting that tax money back, which is a big problem, because a lot of people they look forward to that tax money, you know, coming back to them. All the money that you pay, yes, you're supposed to get that back. It's like a loan that you give to the government. Now, if the government is not giving you that money back, that means we're being robbed. So we have to tackle this. We have to tackle this tax system. Keep going.
I want to interject with that. What do you think about the fact, from what I've been told in regards to Trump and the new tax law, some people say that it's good, some people say that it's bad, and the last thing that I heard about it is Trump doesn't want us getting any money back at all. What are your feelings and thoughts on that?
I honestly don't care what Trump thinks and what he does. I think that we need to get past this whole Donald Trump. he actually gave us gave our country a bad image, worse than any other president that we have. So I think in order to move forward, like, we have to get rid of this whole Trump thing. So whatever his tax plan is or whatever his proposals is, I don't think it actually relates to what average people go through, because he's never been an average person. He's been rich from the time he came out of his mother's womb. So anything that he has to say in regards to people of color or people who make, you know, the middle class, lower class, it's irrelevant.
I hear that.
I don't buy it.
Okay, please continue on with what is it, number 4?
Number 4.
Thank you.
All right, then we you know, going back to revisit that the injustice, the criminal justice system. I think one of the things that we need to do is we start to decriminalize people of color, and that's black people, that's Hispanic people, that's Asian people, that's people from other countries who come here and get their citizenship. Right now, you know, our people of color has a stigma that we are somehow criminals, and then when you look back on history, it's not people of color that's committing the majority of the crimes, but we're getting the majority of the sentences for the crimes. Yes. So we have to start decriminalizing our people of color.
I like that. Okay. And you have number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10?
I have a lot of them. They're on my website.
Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. I just want to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, it's not to bash any of the former presidents or Trump.
No,
I just want to reiterate that right now, because we're on television and we're on radio. This is information that's not to bash anyone that was a former president or is an upcoming president. It's not to bash. This is resourceful information, and I'm glad that the truth be told.
Okay, beautiful. And what I'm looking at, you are really got a lot of work to do.
A lot of work.
A lot of work goes. First of all, I want to ask you, how are you going to go by eliminating people that's been there and set the law in the stone from the beginning? That's going to be very hard to do, because from the original law, it's always there and can't be changed. You can go around it. You can do a lot to it, but then they can go right back and bring it back at you. How are you going to work around that?
You know what? With the power of an executive order, you can do whatever it is that you want to do. So they can agree to it or they can not agree to it. But at the end of the day, when I'm the president of the United States, it's going to happen. Okay. Because we can't move forward with what we have, and it's been proven. Even if, you know, Barack Obama wanted to do something, he couldn't do it because we had the people in office trying to stop and they refused to work together. Donald Trump, he has his own agenda, but he can't do nothing because people in office is trying to stop.
So how would you get around it? That's the tackle I'm asking you now, because that's going to be hard.
We push him out of office.
Push him out of office.
Push him out of office with term limits. And what term limits will do is we'll set a maximum number of years that each person can participate in Congress. And so once they hit that mark, they're out the door. And if they pass the mark already, by the time we set the legislation which says that this is the number of years, you're out of the door. And then we hold special elections to get new people in office. Okay,
I understand. But during presidential, you'll be in there how long? 4 years? How would you be able to accomplish that?
I'll do it in the first month.
Hey!
That's the power of the executive order.
I love this president.
And I don't think he's lying or just talking jack.
Okay, this is a good president.
Look, the reason why is because I can't be bought. I'm from South Central Los Angeles, so I know what it feels like to be poor, and then I know what it feels like to have a lot of money. I've done the military, I have businesses, and I also had nothing. Trying to buy me it's not going to work.
It's not going to work. You need someone who's strong there. And what do you think about bringing religion back into the schools?
Yes.
You know what? Bringing religion back into school, I think it will be a good thing, but I think the only issue that we have now with so many religions in the United States now, it would offend people to have one religion and not another. You know?
Okay, I can agree with that, but isn't this country is considered a Christian country?
Yeah, this country is definitely considered a Christian country.
So if it's a Christian country, why shouldn't our country, the country of America, follow Christianity? You can have whatever else you want.
Yeah.
But why shouldn't Christianity be enforced in schools because it's an American school and the American people pay taxes?
Because you know we were brought in paid for it. That's what it used to be. The Twin Towers, what I can see is now a hypodermic needle. You know what that is in regards to. Please.
Well, because the people have a choice to choose what religion they want to follow. Just because we're in a nation built off Christianity don't mean you have to follow Christianity.
Okay, but when we go to an Islamic country, we have to follow their rules and follow their rules in their country.
And that's what's happening here right now.
And other nations are coming in and they're bringing in their beliefs and they're taking over. So what would you do in that case?
You got to give people the opportunity to explore what it is they want to do. It's not up to me to take people's choices away from them. I'm pro-choice when it comes to everything. So if you want to follow the Islamic religion, go ahead. If you want to follow Christianity, go ahead. If you want to follow Catholicism or whatever other religion that you want to follow, go ahead. It's not up to me to tell people what type of religion they can and can't follow.
So you're saying that Americans don't have the right to put their own law in school as far as Christianity because it's part of the country we built on Christianity?
Well, if Americans build their own schools and the schools is privately owned, they can put whatever religion that they want into it.
All right, we'll move on to the next question. I like that because we need to discuss things like that because, you know, other countries come in and they can enforce with their own belief and they can make it happen. For example, Jewish neighborhoods. You can't just go move into Jewish houses and community.
You can't.
You can go in there, but they'll throw you out. And they'll make you, because I have tried it, follow their rules. If you go in there, you have to close your store. You have to do So why should that be in an American country when it's America?
I think that we all have to be able to follow that same example. You know what I'm saying? Especially like in the black neighborhoods, if we want our own schools, we want our own stores and stuff like that, then we have to come together as a black community. That way we can have our neighborhood councils. That way we can have our own police force. That way we can have our own city council members that protect and look out for the best interests of our neighborhoods. Right now we don't have that. What happens is you have the system, unfortunately the system is designed for us as people of color not to be able to come into our own neighborhoods and you know, get money to buy our own stores or open up our own businesses. You've been blessed. You've been having your business for 30 years, but everybody's not as blessed as you are. Especially like when I go back to South Central LA, it's easier to get a student loan than it is to get a business loan. A business loan will help you get out of poverty, and help you get out your own condition and start to make progression in your own neighborhood. But they're not helping us fund our own progression, but they'll help us fund our own debt.
Okay, so how would you go by in providing for the black neighborhoods? What would you do? Would you put more trainings in what we used to have in the past? We used to have in the old days, blacks lived very good, very well, and that was after slavery because they had trainings. In school there was training. Would you bring all that back if you was the president?
Go ahead, sorry.
Yes, go ahead, honey.
Not only would I bring all that back, but they had this program that was instituted called redlining, where they made it impossible for people of color to even do anything for that. So that's what I talk about when I say get rid of the old legislation that's not benefiting us right now. So I can pass any legislation that I want to, but they can always revert back to the legislation that we had in place prior to the legislation that I would install. So in order to move forward, we have to go back and we have to address the issues that we've been having. And one of the ones is redlining. The other one is how the banking practices was make it hard for people of color to get business loans and whatnot. And so we have to attack the important issues. And the issues is that our people have been being held down for so long. They think passing new legislation is going to work, but it's not. We have to address the past. We have to get rid of the past before we can move forward. Even with the whole racist issues, a lot of people, even people on my team, tell me don't talk about race when you get on, but it's important. Right now, am I saying that we're racist? Am I saying a lot of people are racist? Maybe yes, maybe no. But on the other hand, a lot of people have been brought up like that, so they're not even conscious that they're displaying racist behavior. But racism is a part of American history, and so we have to address it, we have to embrace it, but we also have to move past that as well.
That's wonderful.
It is.
And something that bothered me, what would you do for the people now with the health system, especially the elders? Elders have a hard time after they turn a certain age, 65 and older, and they cut them off everything they got. How would you go by getting them back on? People that have properties and have things and they don't want to give them insurance and may not have enough credit because they had their own personal business.
That's one thing that the government is going to have to help with. When you talk about Social Security, Medicaid, and different programs that they have for senior citizens, that's one thing that I do believe the government has to help with. And the reason why is because, the senior citizens are the older generation, or who got us to where we were. Right. Were they perfect? No. Could they have done better? Yes. Did they make mistakes? Yes. But on the same token, like the government has to take care of these people. It got to be done. We have to implement programs to have our senior citizens taken care of. We have to implement programs to make sure that they have the insurance, they have medical care, proper medical care too, proper and quality medical care. And for some people who want to indulge in the medical industry, make sure they have their prescription drugs and whatnot. And if you believe in the holistic, make sure that that's readily available for you as well. So that's one thing that the government has to start doing.
That sounds beautiful. I love it already. Now the question come in mind with me is so many people have children, and now the children is out of control. The children is like ruling the world because of computer, because of so many things they can get access to. Now, what would you do about parents that have kids and they can't control them because there's laws in place because of a lot of child abuse in the past? Okay, but it was a lot of good of child abuse too, keeping kids in control. Now kids are controlling the world and parents. How would you regulate that?
That's a tough question. I don't think it's anything that I personally can do to make that happen. I got my whippings when I was young. I got my whippings.
That's true. But in regards to that, how would you handle dealing with the caseworkers from ACS before they change their name again? Because a lot of them unfortunately do lie. The child gets killed and they got a promotion the next day. So how would you handle that? I mean, as far as accountability, and you want thoroughness and transparency and all of that, how would you handle that?
Yeah, first, look, like you said, transparency is very, very important. There is no real answer to how you handle that problem. We just got to start holding ourselves and holding the people in the agency accountable for their downfalls. I know whenever I read a lot of legislation or a lot of the case laws dealing with young adults and the people that I know that work with the county dealing with children, is just like the majority of the programs go unchecked. The majority of the programs are underfunded. And one thing that I do see is even with the underfunded programs, it's so underfunded that you can't really do anything with the children besides put them in a home, you know what I'm saying, or put them in a building with other kids and let them chill with no actual guidance. And so we have to start funding these projects, but also we have to have people who want to work these projects who are passionate about the children. That's hard to find, especially when the government is not paying or the city is not paying what they're supposed to.
And with that retrospective, a lot of these companies or these organizations, whatever you want to call these agencies, they are trained by the book. They're trained also by the book and also from a psychological prospect. So in other words, I'll look at a book and look at you knowing that both you and her are different, but it doesn't matter because I'm a textbook person and every person is different. So with respect to that, would you say retraining is in order or not? Because that's still spending more money.
When you talk about being trained by the book, we have to understand that you can be trained by the book all day. And it's something I learned in the military. You can train by the book, but when it comes to like actual real life experiences and personal prejudice, we have to take that in consideration when we deal with people, because a lot of people are trained by the book, but they don't use the book. They use their personal prejudice and their personal prejudice. And so that's something that the agency will have to take up with that individual person. That's why these programs need more funding and more oversight. So these problems get caught. It's an easy problem to get caught. It's an easy problem. It's an easy problem to catch. Like you see somebody in there, obviously, because they leave a track record. With the paperwork, it's a trail. So these programs need more oversight so they can catch that before it becomes a really big problem. A lot of kids are being left hanging because of these programs, and the intentions are good, but the oversight is bad.
Yes, very bad, because there's a lot of kids unfortunately in the system, and I just don't understand. Why have all these kids and you don't want to take care of them? Accidents happen, things happen. Keep your legs closed.
Okay, so you almost are heading for abortion with that.
I'm not going to that. I'm not.
But I want to ask him about this wall.
Oh no! He got sick with that the last time. He's like, no.
This wall. What do you say about this wall? Do you think this wall is put in place if they take away the guns from America? If they take away everything, they put a wall up, and China decides they want to come in. What are we going to do? We blocked them with the wall. Do you think we should get our passport now, which I'm doing?
If you haven't got your passport, you need to get it, period. Hands down. That passport is your freedom across the world. you got to get that passport.
Trust
you got to
me,
travel.
I'm working on it hard. I'm working on it
travel.
real hard.
Yeah, but in regards to the wall, I think it's a sham. I don't think that wall's going to change anything. It's not big enough. It don't even go across the whole border.
Yeah.
It goes across like what, a sixth of the border or something like that. It's a really small wall.
They forget that Africans and Mexicans can swim good.
Exactly.
And they make that wall and swim around it.
And they'll tell you, like, we fly in through the airplanes and then, you know, we cross the borders with no problem, and then, or we make tunnels. I would just send the boats around, you know, around the gate, TJ. And so, because I know I've seen it. I go to Mexico a lot.
The wall to me is a sham to pay off taxes.
It is. I don't think it's to pay off taxes. I think it's to keep the American people away from the issues that are going on with Donald Trump. So if he can sign an executive order to build that wall and shut the government down and emergency this, emergency that, that means he can stop that stuff that's going on with Michael Cohen testifying against him, with the Mueller guy doing all the investigation against him. Because with an executive order, emergency declaration, executive order, you stop all of that stuff.
Well, how would you handle emergency disasters such as this one or other things in general? How would you handle that? Because I know you wouldn't sign an executive order while people are watching concerts or football or in the darkness of the night like most people. How would you handle that?
You talking about if I were to build a wall?
No, I'm just saying in general, if you had to sign an executive order, I know that you wouldn't be slick about it. Given the circumstances, everything that's happening now, how would you handle such events or such things that are coming up, like emergency responses? How would you handle things of that nature?
We will make it happen, period. Like, I'm really bold about my actions, and so I wouldn't have to sneak it. If the American people would know, like, hey, look, guys, we just sign an emergency declaration. Like, I would do it. First thing I would do it as soon as I get into office to get Flint new water. Their water's still trash. It's been like, what, almost 10 years or something like that? Nobody's even doing nothing about that. And so Chicago, violence is still bad. Look, we got to get in there. We got to do something about this stuff. And there's tons of things people can do, but he worried about building a wall. He should be building some new water for Michigan, because they kind of screw right now, and it sucks.
That's true.
Okay, I guess we got to get the president a break.
He
because
needs to
we got to go on
wilder.
station, and we're going to go back to our DJ over there, our DJ.
Suave.
Okay, Suave, bring us some music in.
It's critical to your personal growth in 29 days. 718-253-7273. That again, 718-253-7273. Jot this number down in your phone, your iPad. Store it on your computer, on a notepad, in a place where you can find it quickly. Because at some point, you will need it. This is the number for the most popular and most useful reader and advisor in our area. The world-famous African reader and advisor, Sister Dobong.
That's right. I am Sister Dobong, here to help you. What do you want in 2019? More money? Success in your career job? Maybe you need a better job. How about reuniting with a loved one? If you've been plagued by illness, bad luck, lack, or heartache, it is time for a change. Don't give up. I'm the African Reader and Advisor dedicated to making a difference in an imperfect world. Call me now for one free question by phone. 718-253-7273, and come see me at 1752 Flatbush Avenue, right at the corner of Avenue J in Brooklyn. And let's make 2019 one of the best years of your life.
Make your life a masterpiece. Imagine no limitations to what you can see, what you can do, what you can do, or what you can do. Call Sister Dobong now.
Gang violence real bad, so I moved to Texas. My mom moved to Texas. I was a sophomore in high school. I went to 10th grade in high school, and then I graduated in 2000.
Put it down just a little bit, baby.
I get where you're going.
our first time in New York. I've been all across and every I was over here yesterday with my buddies. We went to the Wood Town or Woodlawn or something like that, restaurant for brunch. I stayed for a little bit and I left. I'll be back for the National Action Network audition. Did you get any television interviews yet? No, we're not how to work it. I'm probably not. You got it from back in you and everything? Huh? You got it back in you? They don't like to put me on the TV or radio or anything like that. They're like the rich guys who got their political action committee. It's hard. It's hard. Oh yeah. The radios is cool. The radios is it's like the news and all this and that. Like I barely just started getting into colleges across the country. Like I had an event in Idaho at Boise State on the 30th of May 1st in Idaho State. And then I had an event at USC like 2 weeks ago.
Waterloo Entertainment Limited presents the Jamaican Music Festival, Sunday, May 26th at the Royal Wilkins Park in Queens, featuring Maka Diamond, Ding Dong, Trevor Clark, Jerry Clark, features The Angel, Assassin, aka Agent Sasso, Al Jam, Arrest Andy, Al Octave, Dennis Al Capone, Tony Rebel, Derek Morgan, Mr. Charisma, and Coco T. MCs, Comedian Lemon, and Bossy Boy Flight. Admission, $60 general admission. VIP, $150 until April 1st. Tickets available now in the Bronx. Movies, Vegan Delight, People's Choice Furniture, KMP Journal, Rockefeller Seafood in Brooklyn, all tasty delicious bakery. Long Island, Sam's Caribbean Marketplace, Big Taste Restaurant, Jamaican Oasis, Tony Mac in Queens, BP Records, Yogi's Restaurant, Westchester Omar the Flagman, Vendors East Hall, 631-336-8353, that is 631-336-8353.
That's all I do, stand there.
Closer to me, I call her babe. She call me boogie. Her really intelligent, really moves me. Nice to know ya. Let's do it again. We did it on a one night stand. Oh, DJ,
listening to WVIP 93.5 FM, KingandQueenRadio.com, BrooklynStation.com, livestream.com/KandQ Radio, YouTube.com, type in the search bar, King and Queen Radio, and of course yours truly, SisterDobong.com. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you are enjoying the show. We have the president in the house.
Yes. I want to say a good evening to everyone listening right now to the King and Queen Radio, BrooklynStation.com, SisterDobong.com, WVIP 93.5. How y'all doing? That's right, and everybody in the South and everywhere, all my kin folks down there, how y'all doing? Okay, and everybody in the West Indies, everybody everywhere. Listen, we got the president here. You can't have no better than that. So I want you to go call your friends and call everybody, because the president here, that's right, on 93.5 FM. That's right, the president. And guess what, folks? We are enjoying this show, and we hope you enjoying it too. Don't forget 1 a.m. we got There We Go Jamaica, when we go to Jamaica and we have a great time. And don't forget to call Sister Dobong when you having troubles in your life. You need to call Sister Dobong. That's 718-253-7273. Don't give up. Call Sister Dobong. All right, we're going to take it back to Lady Gold Star.
What do you think about charter schools?
I don't really have an opinion on charter schools. In what context do you feel about charter schools?
Honestly, I just never knew what charter schools was about, so I don't understand why would people want to. Okay, well, I kind of understand it. As opposed to going to regular school or Catholic school, what they call parochial school, and then you have private schools. What is the difference between those three and charter schools?
You know what? I think the charter schools, private schools, and the religious schools, like the Jewish schools or the Catholic schools or the Christian schools, they're all the same thing. The difference is the level of education that each child gets. You're going to pay for that education too. Well, you're definitely going to pay for that education.
Now I have a twist for you.
Okay, let me just interfere on that. Now, I totally disagree. Why should we people of America be segregated when it comes to education? That people pay this and they can get a better education than you can get. Why?
It's about the money.
Okay, then if it's about the money, what happened to the poor people can't go? That means no matter what changes you try to bring about, if our kids, people of color, don't have education as well as the other kids that have money, then how are we going to progress as black people and ethnic people?
That would be homeschooling, but that's illegal. What's your thoughts?
Wow, okay. So I think that when it comes, people get mad at this, they're going to get mad at this right here.
Well, they're really mad. You're the president.
Yeah, they be really mad. When it comes to public education, everybody knows the public education system in America is trash, especially like if you have to rely on government education. And the reason why is because they only put a certain amount of money. You think about the amount of schools that we have in America. They only put a certain amount of money into schools, especially when it comes to the inner cities. They're not putting no money into the schools in inner cities. And I know that for a fact. You can look at any inner city and you see that the education system, the schools in the city is trash, is ran down, unless it's sports. Now you have a team, you have a team in an inner city and a basketball, football. Of course they're going to put money into those programs because they want the black athletes to go to the Ivy League colleges. Then from the Ivy League college, they want them to go to the NFL to be entertainers and whatnot. But when it comes to education, when it comes to teaching our children to be doctors, lawyers, scientists, neurologists, all these different fields that we need, they're not putting that money into the inner cities. They're not.
Two-part question.
Okay.
It's a good thing you said that. Isn't the money from the lottery supposed to be for education in the first place, or is that just cliche that's no longer existent?
I don't even know where that money from the lottery goes.
Well, it goes to Italy. It belongs to the Italians.
What?
So that's right. They owns that. So they pay their taxes out of it, and the rest of it theirs. That's not American.
Yeah, I don't know where that tax is private. So I don't know where that money goes.
Okay, so
but I know when you get a lady like Bessie DeVos in office who knows nothing about public education system, want to cut funding to public education system, that way you know we're in a real problem. That's when you know they're not benefiting us.
Yes.
Okay, so that's why I say if you become the president, it's going to be very hard for you to change that, because how would you get in? First of all, before you can change anything, you got to get the education system up first.
Yeah.
And they're going to fight you down. Because that has been since the beginning of slavery, no education.
That's the whole reason why Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam was fighting for desegregation, because when we had our own schools, we can teach our kids our own things. Like whenever the slave trade was going on, we still had people of color that still lived here in America with the same time doing slavery. And so we would teach our kids our own lessons, how to be sellers, you know, not how to be
Okay, well, I want to take you back to the Jewish that teach you, well, maybe not the authentic Jews, but okay, we won't go there. But I want to take you back to them. How did they get themselves that they can get their schools and teach their own kids, and why we cannot? I don't want to understand that one, Mr. President.
Well, because the Jewish people, they take their money and they reinvest their money into themselves, and they reinvest their money into their own communities. Our people of color are so selfish. We've been preconditioned to be so selfish that we won't take our money and put it into our own schools, into our own communities. We'll take our money and go buy Jordans. Or we'll take our money and go buy like Fendi and Gucci and buy all these other people products who don't put their money back into the black community. Like, we do not recirculate our dollar. We take our dollar and we put it somewhere else.
Okay, we have a young gentleman here. Want to put him on the camera there. Gold Star, get up a minute, let him sit there.
Gee, thanks a lot.
Young
you know, I'm going to go DJ.
Okay, don't stay there. Okay, go ahead and ask your question, young man.
Okay, so I have a question.
Okay.
How would you help influence the new generation? I feel, for instance, you have other countries who dream the American dream. They come, build success, and have more access than us and our ancestors who helped build this country. I also feel like in our community we have drug dealers, poverty, drug addicts, and convicts, so that becomes our reality in the black community.
That's true.
So I feel, what will you do to help the community and help build the youth of Black America, for our young engineers, architects, and entrepreneurs to help their community? Because 9 times out of 10, our community feels once you reach full success, it means moving to different neighborhoods, putting their children into different schools, and then we lack culture and we push the issues away and we replace that with money. So I feel like, what would you do to actually help change that?
Yeah, that's a great question. That all goes back to the preconditioning that we were talking about. See, our influences come from what we see on TV. So in order to change what influences our young adults, we have to change what we see on TV. Right now you have people like, you know, Cardi B, who twerks for a living, or you have people who glamorize strippers, you have people who glamorize housewives of Hollywood or wherever they're from, and you have people who glamorize the guys you see on TVs with the sagging jeans who abuse their women. So if you take away that influence and you put another positive influence, like, you know, like a black man who actually giving back to his community, or a black man who actually doing something for the people, for his own people, that's how you go and change that culture.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I got to interfere. So don't that take you back to Christianity, what it used to do in schools and places when it was in place?
No, not necessarily. Because you can believe what you want to believe. A lot of people are not even.
But then they have rules that you had to follow. Certain rules were set in place that they followed through Christianity that corrected a lot of issues.
Maybe.
Okay, I'll take that for an answer. Go ahead, sir.
But yeah, it just goes back to what we've been teaching our kids. Like, we have to, like you said, rebuild the education system in the inner cities. We also have to rebuild the infrastructure. A lot of times people in the inner cities, they sell drugs because there is no jobs. They want to work, but they can't. You know, and so because the states or the government never reinvest into our inner cities and stuff, that's when we start having those problems. And so we have to start putting money back into our communities. We have to teach our people, first of all, how to grow wealth, build wealth, and sustain wealth. That's one of the biggest issues that we have right now. Like, you see a lot of people, they will take their money and they will buy things that they think they need, instead of reinvesting their money into property, reinvesting their money into businesses, reinvesting their money into financial vehicles like life insurance, retirement policies, annuities, and different type of insurance policies that help you grow your money substantially. You can't build wealth with Gucci shoes. Unfortunately, you can't do that. You know, and so. But it all goes back to what we see on TV. So we have to actually change that programming and re-glamorize, you know, the original black man with the suit. And people want that, but nobody's taking on that task to put that back on TV because they don't think it would sell. And then the United States government, they'll be damned if they'll let a brother, you know, the people in the inner city actually come up and get out of this oppressive state that the government has us in. And unfortunately, that's my biggest problem that I have with the Democratic Party. And so I've been a part of the Democratic Party. I actually did a lot of events with them, the Constitution Party and the Green Party. But I switched to the GOP, I switched to the Republican Party because when I go back and I read history, history tells us that the Democratic Party has been one of the most oppressive parties that the black community have ever had in history. And so we actually have to change our culture. We have to rebuild our education system. We have to put more money into our inner cities, and that's how we get rid of that.
So what do you feel is the first step moving towards that, moving forward?
Getting these old guys out of office. That's definitely the step, because they're not going to let us do it. They're not. If they would have, they would have done it already. You know, but we still have the same legislation in place, and no matter how much we try to get ahead, the things that happened in the past always hold us back. And so in order to get rid of that things in the past, you got to get rid of the old guys. After you get rid of old guys, you tear down all the legislation, get rid of all those old laws that's been passed to keep us down. And then after you get rid of that, then you implement new legislation that's going to help us get ahead.
Well, I want to take you back. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the president on KingandQueenRadio.com, BrooklynStation.com, WVIP.com, and SisterDobong.com. This is a great, interesting evening, and I know we tired you out.
No.
Okay, because I can go on and on. We just enjoying this. But I must ask you about immigration.
Okay.
Now, what do you feel about keeping everybody here in the country that's already in here, and then you close the border, and the peoples that we got here, we just keep them and deal with them, and only let people in who got education and who got skills, instead of them other countries emptying out people that they don't want and throwing them in here? And what would you do about helping the situation with immigration?
Oh man. With immigration, I think one of the biggest issues is that we have the Constitution that says in order to be a United States citizen or in order to live in this country that you have to come through the immigration way. That means applying for a green card or applying for citizenship and then coming to the United States. Now, people who have already been here, they prove that they've been a productive citizen, they pay taxes, they get their work, and they're actually trying, then I think that they should be able to stay because they're actually helping out our country instead of being a burden. Now, you do have a lot of people that come here illegally, and the reason why they come here illegally is because they don't feel like just like anybody else, they don't have faith in the American system. It's tough. I know people who try to get in the military. When I was a recruiter, they couldn't get a citizenship. You know what I'm saying? Because there's not enough people working in those programs, and so then people getting a citizenship becomes a problem. Like, how can you? Part of the problem is we don't have enough people working. You know what I'm saying? So how can we remedy that problem unless we start hiring other people? So the whole immigration system is kind of torn. Even when I talk to immigration attorneys and immigration lawyers who's supposed to help these people, get their citizenships or even a green card, even a work permit, a work visa, it's terrible because they don't have enough people manning the positions needed in order for these people to get what they need. So the immigration policy, like our whole system in the United States is so broken, it's ridiculous. But people don't see that. They say, let's build a wall, that's going to solve immigration. No, it's not. We need to hire more people to help these people get their green cards, visas, even with like the rapper 21 Savage. Now, I know other people in the entertainment industry who's been through the same process and didn't get arrested for it. But he's been holding on for a green card for 8 years or something like that, and then he get arrested. It's been a long time. Obviously, they don't have enough people, so the problem is not immigration. The problem is that we don't have enough people to vet the people. We don't have enough people to allow these people to have their green cards, work permits, visas, actors visas, singer visas, and get their citizenship.
So you would go by and change that?
I would hire more people. We got to put money. Those are the type of programs that we got to put money into.
Yeah, we got
not a border wall. You're gonna take $6 billion and build a border wall. You can take $6 billion and hire 50,000 more, agents to work on the borders. That's how you increase more jobs. Hire, 50,000 more people to help people get their green cards. That's how you create more jobs. We create a wall, and then you're gonna lie and say that Mexico's gonna pay for it, and then turn around and say the American taxpayer is gonna pay for it. That creates controversy, distrust, and dishonesty among the people in our whole country. Now you got white people hating black people hating Mexicans, hating everybody.
It's been a change over the years. It's like the prejudice is coming back worse than ever.
It's terrible, yeah.
It's really people hating each other, and the blacks against the whites, and the whites against the black. And how would you deal with that and change that? Now it's going backwards.
It's an unchecked behavior. I feel like any person in a power position has the ability to change that just by saying something. Now you would never see Donald Trump saying, "Hey, you guys need to stop the hate." No, but he will praise white supremacy. He will praise white nationalism. He would say that, every person of color committing a crime, they deserve the punishment, they deserve to get killed or something like that. And he would say that on national TV. So the same person who can say these type of things can say, "Hey, I think we need to chill out with the hatred. I think we need to chill out on the violence. I think we need to come together as a country so we can progress together." Because in America, and I think Obama said this one time, he was like, "We're not white America, we're not black America, or we're not gay America, we all Americans." And that makes a lot of sense because, regardless of what our nationality is, what our heritage is, or what our race is, we're all people. We all live in the United States. We all live in America. So we're all Americans regardless of where you come from or what you look like. And I think that's something that we got to get to. And that's one of the issues that's never been checked, that's never been addressed because people are so afraid to talk about racism.
Okay, well, you brought up a good point there. If separation, not only with black people, you West Indian, I'm Indian, I'm African, my grandmother is white, and I'm black, I'm blue. So if that continue on, how do you expect things to really change with the world as a whole? How would you stop the prejudice when our own people hate themselves?
We gotta change that. We gotta change the culture. We gotta allow our people to feel proud about being our people. A lot of the issues come from the criminalization of our people. So when you be criminalized so much and you've been told your whole life that you're dumb, you're never going to be nothing, you never can do nothing, you're going to live to 25 and get shot, your only goal is to be living on the streets, we're not going to put no money in the education system, guess what? You're preconditioned to believe that. You know what I'm saying? So if we start to change that, then we start to be, look, it's okay to be black. You're not going to get criminalized for being black. You're not going to be criminalized for being Hispanic.
So why don't they pass a law on television that is equal in all colors instead of one dominant race, white showing and everything? Because if you brought up with that, you're going to believe in that no matter what. How come all programs shouldn't be programmed with all colors and all races at all times and forbidden to be just one race dominant?
Because they still have old legislation that's keeping that from happening.
So in other words, as long as Donald Trump, why are they putting old folks in there? They're going to continue the old way. Then you got to stop at a certain age with and get younger people. That's what you are trying to get now.
Exactly. They don't know no better. They don't know no better.
Okay, so you continue getting old people like Donald Trump. He's got his old ways. He's not going to change for you or nobody. He's up in his, he could care less.
Yep,
he done lived his life.
Even with, Joe Biden thinking about running for president of the United States, he's old, and he's advocated against black people in his younger politician days. I don't think he'd be a good fit. I don't think Beto, I would support Beto. You know what I'm saying? But on the other hand, his father's a billionaire. His father-in-law's a billionaire. He's never been poor. I would never support Kamala Harris. I would never support Cory Booker. I would never support any politician who ran for re-election in this past 2018 election and then turned around and ran for president of the United States. I would never support that because I feel like that's a coward move. It's a definite coward move. And then to lie to the people and say, "Oh, we're about the people. We're about the people," where you arrested us. You threw us in jail. You gave us time. You gave us time without facts. You gave us time without convictions. You gave us time without evidence. You stole it from our country. You stole it from our people. Your city and your state is still garbage because the homeless population is still out of control. All right, so and this is what I was talking about on the radio a couple weeks ago. You already have a track record of not doing anything for anybody. So what makes you think you're gonna do something for somebody when you're the president of the United States? It doesn't make any plausible sense to me. Not at all. And if you're so confident about winning, so confident about how much you're going to do for our people, why would you run your race and then win your race and then turn around and run again? Let somebody else who want to make a difference have that seat, and you get your behind out and then run for president. I would respect that. That's why I respect Beto.
Brooklyn.
He gave up his seat in Congress, lost in the Senate, took some time, and then turned around and ran for president of the United States. I think that's an admirable move. It's bold. But winning your seat and then turning around and running for president of the United States is just like, so these whole 2 years that you're running, you're not doing anything for the country. You're not doing anything for your city. You're not doing anything for your state. And so, and all these people, this is one issue that I have. I see all these people talking about reparations. They want to talk about reparations. They want to talk about giving $1 billion to the whole black community and all this other stupid stuff. And it's like, we didn't ask for that. And who's going to pay for it? I think that's one thing that they forget. Nobody's going to pay for it. You're going to make the American taxpayer. So that's just like saying, hey, man, I'm going to give you $1 billion, but let me take $500 in taxes, and then I'm going to turn around and get it back to you. That's stupid. And that's not what the black community is asking for. We asking to not be criminalized. We asking to have an opportunity to advance. We ask for an opportunity to be equal in our own communities. We ask for an opportunity not to get shot down in our streets. Yes. We ask for an opportunity to grow our families. We ask for an opportunity not to separate the black man from the black household. Those are the opportunities that we ask for. We're not asking you to give us $1,000. We can make money. Anybody in the hood can make money. Anybody in the inner cities can make money. That ain't what we asking for. What we asking for is opportunity to be equal and opportunity to be left alone. That's our modern day reparations, and that's what we need. We don't need people telling us, oh, we're going to give you money. We don't want your shit. We don't want it. I'm sorry. We don't want it. We don't want it. We don't want no government handouts. We don't want none of that stuff. What we want to do is be left alone by the government. Let us raise our families. Let us raise our young black men and children, and let us progress. That's what we need. That's the modern day reparations. We don't. Why would we want something from you when you are already proven to be oppressive?
I think it's time for a station break.
Yes, you broke down.
Jesus.
He put it on the house. There we folks, you're listening to the King and Queen Radio, BrooklynStation.com, SisterDobong.com, and we're gonna take a station break. Holly is going very emotional. Woo! You know, he hit home. All right, DJ Suave, give us some music there.
Waterland Entertainment Limited presents the Jamaican Music Festival, Sunday, May 26th at the Royal Wilkins Park in Queens, featuring Maka Diamond, Dinga, Trevor Clark, Johnny Clark, Pilchers, The Angel, Assassin, aka Agent Sasko, Aljam, Arrest Andy, I Octane, Dennis Al Capone, Tony Reynolds, Derek Morgan, Mr. Charisma, and Coco T, MCs, Comedian Lemon, and Bossy Boy Fly. Admission $60 general admission, VIP $150 until April 1st. Tickets available now in the Bronx. Movie, Vegan Delight, People's First Furniture, King Preserve, Rocketone Seafood in Brooklyn, all tasty delicious bacon. Long Island, Sam's Club Marketplace, Big Taste Restaurant, Jamaican Oasis, Tony Mac, in Queens, BP Records, Yogi's Restaurant, Westchester, Old Marvin, Flagman. Vendors, please call 631-336-8353. That is 631-336-8353.
It's critical to your personal growth in 29 days. 718-253-7273. That again, 718-253-7273. Jot this number down in your phone, your iPad, store it on your computer, on a notepad, in a place where you can find it quickly, because at some point you will need it. It's the number for the most popular and most useful reader and advisor in our area. The world famous African reader and advisor, Sister Dobong.
That's right. I am Sister Dobong, here to help you. What do you want in 2019? More money? Success in your career job? Maybe you need a better job. How about reuniting with a loved one? If you've been plagued by illness, bad luck, lack, or poverty, it is time for a change. Don't give up. I'm the African Reader Advisor dedicated to making a difference in an imperfect world. Call me now for one free question by phone, 718-253-7273, and come see me at 1752 Flatbush Avenue, right at the corner of Avenue J in Brooklyn. And let's make 2019 one of the best years of your life.
Make your life a masterpiece. Imagine no limitations to what you can see, what you can do, what you can have, or what you can do. Call Sister Dobong now.
BrooklynStation.com, SisterDobong.com. And we got the president here in the house. So many people is on the screen. I want to say hello to all you folks out there. And don't forget the president. You got to vote for the president. And you got to tell them about you and to be ready to vote for you.
Oh, yeah. You can find me on all the social media platforms at VoteCollins2020. And my website is joecollinsforpresident.org. Just make sure you check it out. Donate to the campaign. Right now I support myself. I don't get no money from anybody. I do it by myself because I feel like you got to put your own skin in the game before you can have somebody else do it. So yeah, I support myself. But yeah, I'm from South Central Los Angeles, and I'm born and raised. I did 13 and a half years in the military, and I got out actually in 2017, at the end of 2017, to run for president of the United States because I don't like the race rhetoric that was being displayed by the Trump and his team. And also, I don't like the disenfranchisement of our people. I feel like every time we have an issue, especially with the young people, that our issues go unnoticed, our issue go unheard. They talk about it for a little bit, then they'll brush it right under the seat and we'll get no resolve. So I'm looking to change that.
You heard it again, and I want you to give them that address again, and we're going to have it up for you. So.
No, it's already been posted on kingandqueenradio.com as well as brooklynstation.com.
Cool, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so go on kingandqueenradio.com and you'll be able to see where you can go and donate and help. Come on, we got someone black is pushing, and we want him to be the president. So you know what? We can't lose this opportunity, folks. Come on, you talk. We want black this and black that. Well, we got someone qualified. So let's see what you're gonna do now. Are you gonna just sit in a corner somewhere and just talk and start talking about it? You know what I mean? Because we have a thing. Once someone out there in the opening, here come the criticism and looking for all the negative. So put your negative aside now. You got another negative out there in the White House. So it's time to put a black negative in there. So let's go. Okay, so let's get our people in there. They're negative, so let's put them in the White House.
All y'all negatives, people. negatives.
Because you know they're going to find something negative on you. They're going to look for something. So you got to always put your negative first. Because it's coming. You know what I mean? And then it can turn positive. Yeah. That's coming from Sister Dobong. Okay, so I want to ask you something. Okay. Now, you was in the military. What do you believe? Do you think Trump really helping the military soldiers, or this is part of a gimmick?
Absolutely not. I do not believe that he is helping any part of the military. Like getting raises at the beginning of the year, that's you get it. You get it anyway. You know, now the percentage, whether it's 2% or 5%, that's up to the discretion of the Department of Defense. But he's not helping anybody except for his corporate monies.
I know that's true for a fact because I live with the military and he's not getting nothing, and he was in the post-war and everything, and they give him a hard time just get anything. Matter of fact, you got to be crazy to get anything, and you got to take medication to spit it out. Most people learn how to spit it out. You know what? As long as you put it in your system a couple hours before, they can't prove you're not taking it.
Exactly.
All right. I just gave them too many secrets.
No, it's the truth. It's the truth, because that's how the meth heads get over. That's how the psychiatric patients get over to get that check. People have told me, "Oh, Holly, you should do." I said, "No."
Well, they fought for it. So that you got to do what you got to do to get it. You fought for it. You deserve it.
You should, yeah.
You know, do what you got to do. America is based off of crooks. Won off of crooks. So we trying to straighten it out. I don't know how good you're gonna straighten this America out.
You know what? I was making phone calls to veteran organizations maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then I was listening to it, and I know me coming out of the military, becoming a veteran, and trying to get my benefits was tough. But when you talk about somebody from like World War I or Desert Storm, World War II, because some of these people are still alive.
Yes.
They are. And they're not getting any benefits at all. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, and they throw their duty 214s away. They don't have any medical records. The VA is supposed to keep up with all this stuff, and they don't. They don't have
I had that problem with a lot of people coming with that problem.
Yep, and that is a serious issue.
They say you never was there. We got a vet working for us now that was in there a long time. He said he can't find his records in Miami. They say he never had it.
So they don't get no disability. They don't get the medical. They don't even get their VA benefits. They don't get the proper care that they need. And that stuff is serious. Like the majority of the veterans, that you see outside that will work for food, they have some type of mental disability. They have some type of mental disorder, and you cannot judge. You can't judge PTSD. You can't put a judgment on that. You can't judge it. Yeah, exactly. And you can't put a judge. Sometimes, some days you're good. Some days you don't even know who you are.
I live with it, so I know what it is, and they don't treat it.
Yeah.
You know, they put them in the water and dope them up.
Yeah.
And sometimes they send them out with pills. They don't even know what to take.
That's exactly what
they do. It'll make them worse. You know, so I feel sorry for those wives and stuff got them Marines in the house, because I live with it. It's not easy.
Yeah, but then you hear about VA scandals, millions and hundreds of millions of dollars lost over here and over there, and it's like the veterans not getting that money, so where it's at.
Why would Trump have it where if you are a veteran that you can go around the VA to get your health care coverage outside? What's that about?
You can always do that.
But why is he given the permission now to do it? I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Why is he given the permission to do it now?
Just like he gave everybody permission to have Dr. Martin Luther King Day.
What?
It's already been there. We've always had the permission. He just want to be somebody to say, well, I said that you can do this.
He wants to be a hero.
He wants to be known
He already
for something.
a hero.
Yes.
He's there already. They put him there as a hero to do whatever he want to do, and that's what he's doing. So now the problem of it is getting him out of there.
Sure.
Because I tell you, this America turn around and put him right back in there. And that's why we're trying to get Mr. President say, try something new.
Very, very new.
Do you think they're even ever going to impeach him? Because that's what talks have been since day one with him.
I knew they were never going to be able to impeach him. Because you got to find the impeachable offense. Everybody just talks. They talk a good game, but you cannot impeach him without him violating the Constitution. And he has not violated the Constitution. Now, some things that he done is questionable. We don't like it, but it's not an impeachable offense.
Well, okay, kind of off the subject. What do you, okay? This is kind of going to be a tough one. What do you think about his wife and the fact that she is an immigrant and she got here in a different way?
I think the FBI needs to do an investigation on Donald Trump's wife and make sure she got her papers. If 21 Savage can get it, Melania can get it too.
You forget you can buy your papers. This is America.
You know what? I got
this
you.
This is America.
I got you. I can go online right now.
This is America.
I got you right now.
That's a house beat. This is America.
Email us right now, and I'll give me $2,000, and I'll print you up any paperwork you need. No. I wouldn't do that. I'm just being sarcastic, but that's how easy it is.
Yeah, it could be. You know what? I think we need to move past Donald Trump. That's what I think. That's our little stint in history, just like slavery was a stint in history. We got to move past that.
Yeah, but you know history repeats itself, like Stalin.
If we keep allowing that stuff to happen, it will. That's why we have to get the old guys out. We have to tear down the old legislation and get rid of that. And then we have to start all over. We got to start all over. Sometimes starting all over means bare bones.
Now, I have a very important question. And I know, old as I am, I may sound very stupid. Do voting matters?
No.
Voting does matter.
I want you to explain that. Why? Because a lot of our people do not vote. They say they're going to vote, but I can guarantee you most of them not voting. And how can you talk to them now to tell them voting matter? And you need to do that, because our people say, I'm going to vote, and I guarantee you they didn't vote. And a lot of the votes you see that was said probably was rigged votes. So you need to know, explain to our people how voting matters.
Voting matters because voting starts on a local level, which are local office members, such as like your state assembly members, your state congress members, even like your attorney generals, your lawyers, and your judges. It starts at that level. And so what happens is, once you get registered to vote, and then you vote for your local officials will vote for you for your national officials, such as the congressmen, the national congress members, or the national members of the, or your members of the Senate and the president and vice president of the United States. So voting starts at the local levels. If you guys want things done within your community, you have to vote. You have to put people in office who represent your interests. If not, then you keep getting the same politicians in office who care nothing about you.
But I interject with that because a lot of the things that we have now, especially in society, as you said and already know, have been planted, especially psyops, psychological warfare. So these things, like Obama, they had already programmed him long time ago for him to be president. How can we stop the government and the FBI and the CIA and all these made-up alphabetic companies to stop interjecting in what the public, we as the public, have a right to do? How can we stop them from doing it? Because it's all programmed, because it's bought and paid for. I don't want to go into depth, but you already kind of understand where I could go. How can we stop that?
You can't buy and pay for rights. I'm going to tell you that right now. Like, the Constitution is very clear on what everybody's rights is. And so what you have to do as a people is you have to start enforcing your rights. And you will find once you start enforcing your rights, that is nothing that anybody can do to you. Just like your right to travel. You get pulled over by the police, right? You enforce your right to travel. You're impeding on my right to travel. You're impeding on my right to happiness. You're impeding on my right to freedom. You have to enforce those. And you have to understand the difference between statutes and codes and actual laws. Because if you understand the difference between statutes and codes and laws, you will understand that the laws that you think are laws are not. They're only statutes and codes. And they're only laws until you challenge it and force them to prove that it's a law.
And that's what a lot of, I'll say in certain cases when we get pulled over, they don't like when we exercise our rights. And they look for a reason to arrest us and to embarrass us and humiliate us. Meanwhile, they know that we're right. And they always try to get over by getting a couple of dollars.
That's because whenever you're talking to police, it's not about making an argument. I see it on TV all the time. And you arguing. What are you arguing for? You don't argue with the cops. It's not the cops' job to protect your rights. It's not the cops' job to enforce your rights. It's the sheriff's job to enforce your rights and protect your rights.
But aren't they supposed to protect us? That's what CPR means the last time I checked?
No, it's not.
Okay.
That means constable on patrol.
I knew there was
It does not mean police officer on protect and serve your rights. It's not, because all these guys are just state contractors used to enforce statutes and codes. That's why if they do proceed to give you a ticket and you do go to court, you enforce your rights under the Constitution and not the statutes and codes. You can't argue with them about their own laws. They're going to win every single time.
Right, and it all comes from England, from them, from the Queen.
No, it comes from the United States.
No, but the Queen was the one that invented the police in the first place.
We fought against all that. So the United States made their own laws, maybe according to that, but we put our laws different in place.
Well, with retrospect to that, when you say starting over, are you talking about war, another civil war? Because lately that's what it has been leading to. They've been talking about World War III.
Yeah, that's because nobody's trying to start over. They're trying to continue to be oppressive. We cannot continue to be oppressive. An oppressive government or oppressive country is the worst type of country that you can have right now, and that's what the United States has been. When you talk about starting over, and you talk about addressing the fact that yes, racism exists, and accepting that's one thing we have to do. We have to address it. We have to accept it. After we address it and we accept it, we got to accept the fact that it is part of United States history, but on the same token, we still have to move on as a people. All right, so that means like we can't place blame over white people's head about racism happening, because yes, it did happen, but they didn't do it.
Exactly.
We didn't do it. We weren't a part of it. We're a product of it, but we're not a part of it.
That was part of it too.
Yes.
Because in order to build any country anywhere to succeed, you always have to have a lower man. So slavery always going to exist in one form or another.
This is true.
They're just not going to use the word slavery, but look at the jail. You got your slaves right there.
Yes.
You understand? So anything break out, the first person they're going at is the jails.
Yep.
They're talking about right now building the wall. Who they want to get? The people out of jail to build it. That's free labor.
That's true.
And
that's true.
What, 5 cents an hour?
Yeah.
Less than that.
And they can get it done. And then nobody can do about it. Because once you in the States, you belong to them.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
You got no more rights. So if they want to go and say, let's take that prison now and take them over to the work, they did it in the South so many years. You worked on the chain gang and cleaned the fields and did slavery work there. That was your punishment.
Right. The difference between now and then is back then it was involuntary. Now it's voluntary. Regardless of how you put it, they take you into court, they give you the dog and pony show, and then they scare you, intimidate you, to make you sign your life. Now, if you never sign, guess what? There's no prison, right? Because the Bible says what? I would take you before who? The judge.
One more question. I'm getting ready to bring it out. Yes, I shouldn't do it, but I'm going to do it.
Go for it.
Now, in the Bible saying God we trust, and we're not supposed to swear on the Bible because you're not supposed to swear before the Lord thy God. So why in the courts of the United States of America they force you to swear on the Bible when it's something that you're not supposed to do?
Because we don't know our rights.
Okay, because you can refuse it.
Oh yeah, you don't have to. You got to tell them. You got to enforce your rights. I'm religious or whatever religion, and I swear no oath to no Bible. I swear no oath to no man. That's in the Bible. That's what the Bible says, and that's your religion, and that's what you stick to. Because, like you said, it's built off of religious.
I just hope people get you and understand that they got a brilliant black man here is just for the world, not only for our people, but he letting our people know he represent them as well. He's a man that's for the world, not for just one, but for all. So we don't want the audience to think he's just for black people. But we have to let black people know to understand that he's not just going out there to jump in there to say, okay, I'm in here now, I got to do what the whites say. At least he's trying to show the black people, I'm going to represent you. Don't mean when you get in there, they're not going to force you to go under their rules and law. That's another thing you got to be aware of. What happens?
I'm already familiar with that.
Okay.
I'm already familiar. They tried it in the military, it didn't work.
Okay, well then you got to try it, baby. You got to do it.
Yeah.
And Martin Luther King, well, he wasn't the only one that made it. You know, the Bevel, they didn't even get him, which is a past relative of mine, James Bevel.
Yeah.
He fought right along there with Martin Luther King. As a matter of fact, he influenced him in the old Black Man March. You never hear nothing about him.
Yeah.
Because he did not follow along what the whites told him to do.
Exactly.
Martin Luther King followed along with them. And so, okay, if you follow and listen to him, you get your name put up. But if you going your way the way you're going, what you think gonna happen?
Yeah, exactly.
But you got to fight it.
You got to, however you can.
So now, folks out there, tell them where to find you because we got a war here.
You can find me on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Vote Collins 2020. VOTECOLLINS 2020. And my website is joecollinsforpresident.org. It's a beautiful website too. I built it myself.
It is. I saw it. It's very beautiful.
It took a lot of time too. I sat there for like 3 days straight trying to figure it out. It was a new
But
program.
you got it though.
Oh yeah, that's what I do.
You ain't gonna give up that easy.
Yeah, we taught to get stuff done. That's what we do.
13 years of suffering. That's a long years.
Yeah.
And the world need to know you're not a psycho. You'll come out and you mean helping people. Because when you hear military, they hear Marines, all of a sudden you're crazy. You know? It's just a man that wants to help the world, and he should be the president.
Yeah.
I vote for him.
We'll get that.
I vote for him too.
My family still think I was a Navy SEAL.
We need somebody strong. Folks, he just being nice here. But I bet you when he get out there in the public, he could throw some speech on you. He already started.
Yes,
so
he did.
He just being nice and sweet here, but he didn't throw that speech on you. Okay, it's been a pleasure here, folks. And you're listening to the King and Queen Radio, BrooklynStation.com and SisterDobong.com, 93.5 FM. What would you like to say to the world out there? Something that you would like to say to the people out there? This is your time to speak to them.
I say this just like I said every single time. Do not believe people who say they're going to do something for if they have a track record of not doing anything for anybody. It's not going to work. All right, and I'm going to leave it at that because I think we touched on that earlier today. But you guys stay blessed, stay safe out there, and thank you for letting me be on the show.
God bless you again.
Thank you so much,
okay,
Mr.
we
President.
go on KingandQueenRadio.com, folks, and you got something, a beautiful person here. You need to support and donate, and with experience, military experience. He would know how to run the world.
Yeah.
You need somebody now with military experience. That's a must.
That's true.
That's a must, because the time coming, we got a lot of enemies looking at us. And we can't be sitting there talking a whole bunch of dumb talk, because they'll be marching right in here on top of. I already know them little sharp men's over there. Where them little sharp men's come from, that country? That little sharp man that
we don't gotta worry about North Korea. I'll tell you that right now.
You don't think so? That little sharp man with that army?
He just trying to be like America. I was talking to somebody
He got them soldiers trained.
What's his name? Jong-un. I forgot his name.
Yes, Kim Jong-un.
It's been a while since I heard of him.
Look, everybody's trying to not be oppressed. You know, that's the, like, just like us in America, we try not to be oppressed. We don't want our rights violated. We want.
But I think we got the strongest army out there.
Oh, we do. We got the best.
I really believe we got the best. Russia try to bluff us here and there. But I think this America, don't sleep on. I love my America.
Yeah, we got.
God bless America. All right, we're gonna take it back to the DJ and get us a little music going on. So maybe our president, he can learn to dance.
No, he knows how to dance. Challenge! He be grooving sometimes at 11:51. You're listening to WVIP 93.5 FM, KingandQueenRadio.com, BrooklynStation.com, YouTube.com. Type in the search bar King and Queen Radio. Also livestream.com/KNQ Radio, and yours truly, Sister Dobong. This is the Beyond Show. Mr. President, I salute you. Thank you so much. Seriously, thank you so much. And Suave, the floor is yours. And thank you to my new co-worker.
No, I've never been someone shy until I seen the rise. Still I had to try. Yeah. Oh, let me get my words right, tell me no approach. Woman, I treat you like a man is supposed to. You'll never have to cry. No, I know everyone can relate to when they find a special someone. And she's royal, yeah, so royal. And I want her in my life. I never anyone so one of a kind. No, the way she moves all over me, she has the
Oh
You be my world. Don't make a move unless you say okay. I won't do nothing without thinking about you. It's second nature. I will look at
Let him take one back, Brooklyn. Take one back up.
your love is urgent to me. I won't do nothing without you. Won't do nothing without you. Oh no, you turn my house into a home. Whenever you're here, I really mean to keep you captive, but I just can't get enough. I can be by your side.
We're gonna have a little dance party. We're gonna have a little dance party. He's dancing. Come on, go in the studio. Go in the studio. Go in the. Oh, sorry. Go in the studio. He's dancing. He's dancing. Go in the studio. He's dancing. He's dancing. Go in the studio. Get the mic. Get the mic. Never mind. Here, get the mic. You were dancing. We're gonna continue the dance party.
It's karaoke or something?
No, we were dancing. I saw you. You're not good. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good evening, good night, hello. You are listening once again to WVIP 93.5 FM, KingandQueenRadio.com, BrooklynStation.com, Livestream.com/KNQ Radio, YouTube.com, put in the search bar King and Queen Radio, and of course yours truly, Sister Dobong. Before we close the show tonight at 11:57, I just want to say thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry if my back to the camera, for tuning in to the show, the Beyond Show. And that's the right word for this. It's beyond, because you never know where we're going to go. President Joe Collins, I salute you. Thank you one more time again. We're trying to have a little dance-off. But before we have our little dance-off here, Suave, can you put on that special song, please, before we go? Queen, say your last words, please.
Okay, don't forget, there we go, Jamaica from 1 a.m. to 2. And it is a pleasure being here with the president. And as she said, we're going to give this final dance, the great dance, because he's getting ready to be the president. We for 19, oh, I'm saying 19 for 2020. Okay, are you ready? DJ Suave.
For a recap of the show, again, you can go to KingandQueenRadio.com, BrooklynStation.com, YouTube.com, search for King and Queen Radio, Livestream.com/KNQ Radio, and SisterDobong.com. This is the Beyond Show. We will come back to you at 1 a.m. with There We Go Jamaica, only on WVIP 93.5 FM. You done know. College 2020. Let's go, Suave. Let's go. Get him. What?
Okay. The dance party is beginning to end. I want to thank you folks for joining us tonight. And I want to say good night, and I see you from 1 a.m. to 2. So stay tuned for Lady English.
Hi, Lady English, and King James, and Professor Hughes.
Good show coming up.
Yes.
All right. They got to get the president on that show soon.
Yes. And for bookings for Mr. Collins, y'all got to come through me. You see that? That's power right there. Power. Come through me.
All right. Woo. All right, folks, I'm going to go take me a little break. Thank you, baby, because I know you got to get on your way.